Good afternoon, Kiori. How are you doing today?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good for a Monday. Did you have a good weekend?
Yes, I did. Thank you.
You did. Good, good. Well, I thank you again for coming back and meeting with me on today. This is our third session. And, if all things go well, we'll be terminating services today. And that will be contingent on just a couple of different techniques and things I'm going to go over with you, okay? And just like before, I go over the professional disclosure with you, so I'm going to go through that and then we'll jump right in, okay? So I'm a graduate student working towards the completion of my master's degree in professional counseling. I'm currently practicing counseling techniques and therefore will be recording our session. But of course, our professor and classmates are the only ones who will see the tape. The recording will be destroyed at the end of the semester. Likewise, you should know that there are some limitations, excuse me, to my counseling. Please note that it is not possible to guarantee any specific results regarding your counseling goals. However, together we will work to achieve the best possible results for you. Now, it is your right at any time to inquire about the process and procedures being used during our counseling relationship. You have the right to refuse or request changes to any of my suggestions. If at any time you're not satisfied with my services for any reason, you can inform me or my supervisor, which is my instructor. Once you have begun counseling with me, there is no obligation to continue. You have the right to discontinue at any time, though I ask that you participate in the termination session. Should you desire a referral to another therapist, I will provide you with one. My services are rendered in a professional manner consistent with the ethical standards of the American Counseling Association. If you have a complaint concerning malpractice, this can be reported to my instructor. Everything we discussed in this session will be kept confidential. If I determine you are in any imminent danger to yourself or to others, that's the only time our confidentiality will be breached. Some other ways that we would potentially breach the confidentiality is if you report child abuse, elder abuse, any neglect, if your records are subpoenaed by a court of law, if you disclose any sexual contact with another mental health provider with whom you had a professional relationship with, if information is requested by your contract provider, such as your insurance company, and if I'm directed by you in writing to disclose information to someone of your choosing. Okay. So we have your signature on file. So we're just going to go right on in. So one of the techniques I wanted to discuss with you was called, let's see, I have a couple of them here. I thought that would be suitable for what we've been discussing the past couple of weeks. So the first one is called early recollection. And actually, we covered this in the first session, but I just wanted to see if we can get a little bit more in depth with some of um, the feedback from your formative years. So the first one is when you were a kid, did you ever have moments when you felt really connected to others? And just one example is good.
Yeah, I had like a big group of friends growing up, so I felt really connected with them. Me and my family have pretty much always done things together, and I felt connected in a sense, even though obviously there were like other things, like stuff that like I'm working through now. But as far as like connection, I always felt like I was somewhat connected to people. I didn't feel like I was. I don't know. This is kind of a tricky question only because like I felt that, but then obviously I did feel like alone when it came to like certain things about myself. So yes, I did. Just to answer the question though.
Okay, thank you. And so thinking back a long time ago, again, like your formative years when you were probably like around 5 or 6, what images or memories come to mind when you think of that age?
Mm,
I would say not to overthink too much, just the first images that come to mind.
the Boston area that I stayed in, um,
Okay.
being at school, um, yeah.
Okay. And when you say school or Boston, for example, is any particular memory that comes up?
Um, Not really.
Okay. Okay. All right. So going back to your childhood again, what was your house like?
Which one? I had a few.
Around 5 or 6
Um,
years. Hmm.
okay, so I think I was still living in Boston. I don't remember the street name, but I remember like there being stairs to get to the apartment. Um, I don't know if this is when I was 5 or 6, but the only memory I remember that's coming to mind right now, anyways, is like a situation with my uncle when he had a situation with his son, and I don't even know. I think that might have been when I was a little older though. But anywho, um, the house wasn't a part. It was like an apartment building. Um, yeah, I just really remember like going up the stairs, and I think there might have been brick around it.
Hmm. Okay. And you were starting to give a little bit elaboration about a situation in your house with your uncle and
Oh yeah, so what I can remember was I think him and his son were having like an altercation, and like they got into it, I guess, and I think it got so bad that like my uncle ended up going to prison, or not prison, but like he went to jail for the night or something like that. I think someone might have pepper sprayed my nana or him. I don't know. That's something that I remember, but I wasn't actually there to see it. This is just stuff I was hearing from the other room, because I think I was actually supposed to be going to bed that night, and I heard everything going on. And my mom wasn't home, so um, I think that's when I had heard about it. I think she had went to go get him from jail that night. And then, yeah, I don't know why I'm thinking about that, but that's just like, I started thinking about the stairs, and then I thought about how
Mhm.
that moment happened on the stairs. So, yeah,
Yeah,
like my mom do that a lot where I'll like think about something and then it'll go to the thought.
right. And I'm sure that situation was a bit um, traumatic, I would think, if that was the first thing that came to mind. How did how was your interaction with your mom when that incident had occurred? Or was your mom around?
No, like, I think she was working, and she ended up coming later on because I remember her saying to my nana that she was gonna go get my uncle, and then I think she ended up getting him out of jail that night. But that's when I heard everyone talking in the living room. Like I was supposed to be in the bed, like I was in my room, but the door was cracked, so I could like hear everything.
Mhm.
And yeah, I just heard her saying something about being pepper sprayed, or my nana being pepper sprayed. Um, she ended up saying like she went to go get him from jail and stuff like that. Like I don't necessarily remember everything, but that's what I do remember.
And how did that impact you? You were so young. I can only imagine. What did that do for you from a mental, point of view?
Um, I didn't put the connection to it today. I mean, up until today, but I think that it was probably one of the first like incidences that I had about family, and like how I don't know. I guess that was probably the first time I started to maybe feel some sort of anxiety. Maybe I love it because like I feel a little bit of the anxiety as I'm talking about it, and I like as I was beginning to talk about it, I didn't like think of it like that
Yeah.
until. But yeah, I think that might have been the first time because I was nervous. If I'm honest, like I was definitely nervous that night. I didn't know what was gonna happen. Like, and my uncle's pretty like passionate, but like back then he was a little more passionate with like his words and his hands and stuff. So I didn't know like how bad my cousin was. I didn't know if my uncle was gonna be okay because he was in jail. I didn't know if my nana was gonna be okay because she was pepper sprayed. Like there was a lot going on, and like this is just from what I was hearing. So I, I guess that was like the first time I felt that anxiety build up, and I didn't realize that until just now.
Mm, gotcha. Thank you for sharing that with me. And so, with that same image in your mind, if you were able to change something that night, as far as whether well, I don't want to paint the picture for you because this is more or less your opportunity to dive a little deeper about if you could change the situation.
Mm-hmm.
What would you have done differently? Um, what would you had wanted to been done with you or for you during that time? And before you answer that, I want you to close your eyes and then imagine that situation in your mind. Imagine being in that place. Imagine all the occurrences that happened that you can recall. And if you could make it picture perfect, let's just say, how would it have been different for you? And keep your eyes closed as you're describing that.
I would have gotten out of bed before it even got crazy, and because I was so young, I don't know if it would have really made like an impact, but if it did, I would have said something like I don't know, stop or like say something. I don't necessarily know what I would say, but say something to I guess kind of diffuse the situation. Um, and then I I would have wanted them to like calm themselves down so that it didn't get to the point that it did. And then after that, I would have probably had a talk with my mom or my nana or even everybody to really just like help me understand what was going on because like I was young, so I don't necessarily know everything that happened, but I know that it was like it wasn't something that you could brush over, I guess. Um, but overall, I just would have wanted someone to. I would have wanted that situation to not have had happened. I wouldn't have. I would have wanted to do something to make sure that it didn't happen. Um, I don't know how, but yeah.
Okay. And you can open your eyes now. Um, thank you for sharing that information. A lot of times with that technique, it's part of a relaxation technique where you kind of close your eyes and you're putting yourself in the moment. So relaxation in a sense where you're not thinking and you're not wandering all over the place with your mind, but you're actually going back to a place that you spoke about and talk through like what that would have been like if you could have had it turn out differently. Um, so in addition to that, so there's another relaxation technique called progressive relaxation. Um, Now, with this one, you are going to do something similar in terms of closing your eyes, but I'm going to give more instruction on what you're going to do while your eyes are closed. And then we'll get some feedback on what that was doing for you as you were going through the motions of the technique. Okay. Um, so you're just going to close your eyes again and just make sure you're relaxed, kind of shake your hands off and just take a deep breath in and then breathe out and cross your legs if your legs are crossed and cross your fingers, your arms, and just focus on like you're breathing. Breathe in through your mouth, out with your nose, in with your nose, out with your mouth, sorry. And then pay attention to the air going in and going out. Take complete control of your breath. And now you're going to focus on your toes. Feel any tension that might be in your toes. If you feel any, just kind of shake your toes. Make them a little tight and then hard and firm, and then relax them. Make your toes tight and firm, and then relax them again. And now you're going to move to your feet. If you have any tension in your feet, like any cracking or just any tension at all, you want to tighten up your feet and then you want to kind of relax them. Try to make them as comfortable as possible and just kind of let your body just kind of sit there and continuing to breathe in and out while you're doing that. Just focus on your breathing, feel the air going in and out. And with each breath, you're feeling more and more relaxed, more and more calm. And just whatever you do during this relaxation, make sure you're breathing in and out. Now focus on your calves. If there's any tension in your calf muscles, you want to tighten them up if you can, and then just try to allow them to be as loose as possible. And now you want to focus on your thighs. There's usually a lot of tension there between the thighs and your hips. If you feel any tension, acknowledge the tension right now and then kind of sit into your seat and just kind of like release any tension that you may have. And while you're doing that, just continuing to breathe in and breathe out. Make sure your body is as relaxed as possible, taking away any thoughts that you had previously from what we were talking about, and just taking a moment right now to just relax your mind, to calm yourself, and to feel how relaxed you are in this moment. Okay, now, if you feel comfortable, you can open your eyes slowly, continuing to breathe in and continuing to breathe out. How do you feel? You feel relaxed? Good. Definitely, that was the objective for you to have the ability to feel relaxed when you were going into your early recollection stages. And this can happen a lot where it can be, like you said, I'm getting anxiety right now, just thinking about that. So whether you're thinking about something from your past or something current is happening, is like taking the opportunity to do that relaxation technique can just kind of get you back, kind of honing in on like, okay, I'm good, I'm all right, I'm not there, or I'm going to be okay, I'm safe, and just not having that anxiousness kind of like sitting on your shoulders. All right. And so we're going to do one more thing. And I think that along with the other two techniques, that these are things that you can take with you as you continue on your, um, you know, self-love and self-care and just continuing to be healed on that journey. These things can help you along the way. Um, so this one is more of a homework assignment, but this would be something that you'll do long term as you feel the need and when you get the time to do so. Um, so I know during our sessions we've had quite a few, and you've dived into quite a bit of things that were traumatizing and that made you anxious. And you talked a lot about just how you've having the self-regulation and the breathing techniques and different things that kind of help you calm yourself down and not really be in those times and moments that made you feel anxious. So these things that we're providing you with, or that you've discovered on your own, really are tools to help you when you feel just a little overwhelmed. So this one here is called a bibliotherapy. Um, and I don't know if you're into writing or reading, but this is what it would more or less consist of. And again, when time permits, when you feel maybe a little overwhelmed, then you just need to kind of get away from the world per se and focus on you and your self care. Um, so this one, so as we're getting ready to depart our session, it's important that I leave you with, some tools, as I mentioned. Um, one of them is positive things that you can do, such as some of those techniques I mentioned. And then this is a good book that one of my colleagues had referenced to me by Albert Ellis. I can send you this information later as well. It's called How to Make Yourself Happy and Remarkably Less Disturbable. And as you read that, you just kind of focus on what controls you in this having you focus on what controls you currently and how those things take over like your mind, and how you can be the driver of your mind and you can be the one that can help minimize the amount of things that kind of take over your mind and make you anxious. So that book is a good reference for you. And again, I can send you that information so that you have it. But did you have any other questions for me about any of the techniques? Of course, I can send you those things so that you have them to reference back and you can use them as a tool. And I can send you a copy of the name of that book as well. Well, did you have any other questions, any other thoughts or regarding our sessions?
No, but please do send me that information so I can look it over.
Okay, definitely will do. Um, well, I do think that you are, doing a great job with your self growth and self rediscovery, and just really trying to find um, that middle ground so that when life happens, you know how to handle it. And so I just want to tell you, continue to work on the positivity, continue to work on different tools that you've been using to continue to help yourself heal and get stronger. Um, so if you don't have anything else from me, then I want to say I thank you for again choosing me as your therapist during this time, and always here for you. I know this is our termination session, but if anything should come up, you know how to reach me, and I'll make sure I can avail myself to you if you need someone to talk through something through. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
All right. You're very welcome, and wish you all the best. Okay. You take care.
You too.
All right. Thank you.